Yeah, the women, had a phenomenal season. To go in there and beat Wiley as good as they were, was a great feat for us, particularly where we're at in terms of program development. So really pleased with that. We had a really, really good and deep group last year. And this year we don't quite have the depth. And you don't just walk away from losing points like we're losing with Jasmine. We're losing with Ione, we're losing with Gabby. The big chunk of points that we're losing there. But despite not having quite the depth that we had this time last year, we're still extremely talented. And on the sprints jump side, we're perhaps the most talented we've ever been. And in terms of distance runners, we don't have as many as we typically have had, but we still have amongst the best, if not the best, distance runners in the conference. So on the women's side, we're fully expecting to defend the championship. The dynamic of the conference has changed quite a bit because I think it's just as much between us and Wiley as it is between us, Wiley, and Southwest. Southwest has really done a good job of developing and becoming contenders themselves. So I think the dynamic's going to change a little bit this year, but I think with that we're still at least amongst the favorites, if not the favorite to win on the women's side. On the men's side, rather, we're better than we were last year. We've got more depth. We're more talented. And so we'll want to push with that group too to win. The men, I think, is a little bit more interesting given the emergence of Texas College as well as Southwest. Wiley is always going to be involved. So I think it's a little bit thicker race with the men, and it always has been. Last year was no different. I just think we're a better team. We got better numbers on the men's side than we did last year. And just with distance runners alone, we can scratch out a lot of points. So yeah, I think we're going into it expecting both teams to be able to win it. But we've got a dozen or so girls that are all going to be very key, and they have to be very key. So you don't want to, every one of them is literally important. But we've got a lot of firepower in what we have, and that's a lot of points right there that a lot of people will be able to get. But we've got a good leadership structure for what we have. The men's side, I think it comes down to guys like Clay. You've got Pablo. You've got Nate, Jose. You've got a lot of guys that have been around for a while. That we're going to really expect to lean on and have to lean on. So that's an exciting group as well. In terms of freshmen on the women's side, you've got Sabrina and Peyton on the distance side, who obviously were key for us in cross. I'm excited to see Sabrina healthy. She wasn't healthy, say, for one meet during cross. And I don't think, particularly in the conference and outside of our team, I don't think people realize how talented she is. You're talking about a girl that went mid 11 minutes for 2 miles. There's not a whole lot of people in our conference that could even touch that. So I think healthy Sabrina's going to be, she's going to be right up there with the Elenas of the past, Jasmine of the past in terms of her ability. So we keep her healthy and get her rolling. She's going to be huge for us in terms of freshmen. Peyton's going to do her thing. Another one I'm excited about on the track is Audrey Pineda. Just a phenomenal athlete, can do a lot of different things for us. So we're excited about the freshmen and what they bring to the table. On the men, the first one that probably comes to mind is Isaiah. Isaiah really had a huge breakout there in cross country season. Just an amazing run at it for him. And I'm excited to see what he can do on the track. But we also have, Thomas, who, is a jumper that's very talented, and we're looking forward to seeing what he can bring to the table. But I'd be remiss to say that, to not say that we're excited about all of the freshmen, quite frankly. I mean, so we're a talented group right now. Not the deepest, but we're definitely talented. Pretty much our policy here that if you run cross, particularly on scholarship, you're going to do track. There's so much to that in terms of benefiting us, and that those kids, number one, physiologically just come in better shape because they already are coming off of a highly competitive cross country season. They're battle tested at that point. It's almost like you're taking a freshman from cross country, and by the time they get to track, they're a sophomore. Or a sophomore in cross country is now pretty much a junior for track. So what they've gained and learned from cross country is always huge when that translates to the track. And particularly when you're bringing kids in groups to the national meet, to have that level of experience from cross, to be able to bring that over to the track side is obviously huge. And our distance runners, we've always prided ourselves in scoring a lot of points at that conference meet. And I'm happy to say our sprinters, jumpers are right up in there scoring points now too. But we're really in a situation now where we could not win it with one group or the other, and that's exciting. Having those distance runners come in shape and ready to go is priceless, and an advantage that we really have in the conference, along with perhaps Southwest, that nobody else has, to be able to bring a group of distance runners in that are talented and in shape and ready to go. I mean, Coach Smith is huge. I mean, in terms of the sprint and jump side, I really lean on him to do a lot, and he does do a lot. We would not be where we're at right now without what he's accomplished. Early on in it all, I was quite a bit more involved on that side of things, but as he's been here longer, and as we've grown together, it's been a lot easier to get him more involved and to kind of let him just run things. It makes it a lot nicer for me to be able to just look at that side of things from a big picture standpoint and know that everything's being taken care of. And he's really had a lot heavier hand in recruiting too, and he's been doing a good job with that as well. So, he's a guy that we all depend on quite a bit in terms of the athletes and myself, and does a phenomenal job. And we definitely wouldn't be where we're at without what he does. Yeah, so the indoor schedule, as usual, is pretty travel intensive. To take indoor seriously from our position in the world, you've got to travel a little bit, just because of the availability of facilities and availability of meets. So we're going to Norman. It's a meet that's being hosted at OU's facility, but it's being hosted by Central Oklahoma. That'll be primarily an NEI Division II, style meet. We'll see a lot of Midwest NEI schools that we don't typically see a whole lot outside of, say the national cross country meet or something. So it'll be a good meet for us. I think we'll be very competitive at that meet. And then from there we go to a couple Texas Tech meets in February before we head to the national meet. And obviously the goal is to qualify kids to the national meet. I'd be surprised if we don't have 2 or 3 that qualify for indoor this year. That's what our expectation is. I think we might even be able to sneak some guy distance runners in there. Realistically, for the first time, I do believe we've got 2 or 3 guys that can legitimately work their way in there. So outdoor is a heavily local schedule, as it usually is. We did throw a new one in there in Kingsville. We're going to do the Cactus Cup with them. I'm looking forward to that one because I think we're going to see a little bit different team structure there. I think we're going to compete against teams that we don't typically see. One that comes to mind is like Tarleton. We never see Tarleton because of the way they typically go to Northwest Texas, whereas we're always down here and, maybe going up to the Midwest, so we don't see Tarleton much. We don't actually see Kingsville that much, especially in track. And we're looking forward to that meet, because I think that meet will be primarily made up of teams from the Lone Star Conference, which at this point I think we match up fairly well with. So it'll be a good challenge for us, but one that I don't think is over our head. Then you've got your usual meets that we always go to, Trinity, a couple meets, at UIW, a couple meets, and then a meet we've done several times at this point too is the outdoor meet at Texas Tech, which we primarily are using as a national qualifier meet. It's going to be a meet that, we're only looking to take, people who are already qualified for nationals or are on the precipice of qualifying for nationals. So that'll be a fun one for them to do, those of them who, we're willing and able to take. Yeah, Michaela, she's one of our repeat national qualifiers and has done a lot of good things for us, and we hope that she progresses. I know that she wants to do bigger and better things. I know Coach Smith has challenged that group with not only getting to nationals at this point, but scoring. That's key for us. Can we get somebody scoring? Can we get an All-American? And so I think when you're looking at people that have a shot at doing that, Michaela's probably at the top of that list. Along with I think Andrea Colliver obviously is super talented, and it hasn't always gone her way, but it could. And she's just that talented. So there's a handful that I think we have that could really make a push and not only go to nationals but do something. The conference meet is going to be at Pine Tree ISD again, which is in Longview. I think technically it's being hosted by Wiley, but I believe the conference has got a heavy hand in it too in general, and making sure that things go really well. I thought the meet went really well last year, so I'm not at all disappointed that we're going back there. I thought that high school staff there did a phenomenal job of running the meet, and we're happy to go back there.
Okay, and last year you had one of your team members achieve something that no other track and field has, and that's the academic All-American. How important is academics to you?
Oh, it's huge. So, possibly cliche of me, but it's everything. That's what they're here for. And Ione, such a great kid and somebody who's done so much for us, and somebody who improved and grew, through being with us so much. It was exciting to see her get that, and couldn't think of anybody more deserving of that. Somebody who was able to, achieve so much on the track and the course, but always was, getting it done in the classroom too. In terms of that, we wish everybody was like that, and that's what we're striving for. And I really do think that we've got a few more on the roster now that are just like that. I wouldn't be surprised to see us get that a couple more times at this point. So, yeah, it's huge. Yeah, we've got an agreement that we've worked out with Southwest ISD, Southwest High School in particular. The AD there has been just great to us. He's provided us a facility with lights, equipment, and a restroom. So, we're excited about that because it's probably the closest thing that we've been able to call home. And so we're hoping to maybe even expand that relationship and maybe at some point even host meets out there or help them with hosting meets, whatever it might be. But that's been a good situation, and we expect that to continue to be a good situation. Until we have a track of our own, we are dependent on the kindness of others, and Southwest ISD in particular, their athletic department's been very good to us. For outdoor track, it's really easy to see us. We're always pretty much local. Even if you think about our travel meet to Kingsville, it's still fairly local, but you know, Trinity and UIW in particular, I mean, that's a quick trip from campus here. I don't believe many or any of those meets charge to even get in. UIW might charge. I don't believe Trinity ever charges. So, I mean, they're very accessible. You know, and just as it's been for the past couple of years, you're pretty much going to see a saint and something throughout the meet. You know, whereas previously it used to be just we were here and then 3 hours later you'd see somebody. Now it's pretty much the entire meet you're going to be able to watch, you know, one of our athletes do something. So it's fun to watch. It's something that's accessible, and you know, we'd really appreciate seeing people out there.